Oh, I should do this. Time for another edition of Taking You Home with VoigtJohnson Real Estate. You can hear this program Thursday morning and Saturday afternoon now on KNSI. Thursdays at 7:23, 12:53 in the afternoon on Saturday. Don't forget now, start that home search at VoigtJohnson.com. Heidi, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, the market these days, let's see, we are still in the fall market, right?
Correct.
October. How are things going out there?
It's good. We've seen a little bit of an uptick of listings and buyers jumping into the market a little bit more. So, we always have a little bit of a lull those first 2 weeks before school, first couple weeks after school starts. It quiets down a little bit, but last couple weeks have been a little bit more engaging.
How about what the Fed is or isn't doing? Interest rates are coming down. No, really, they are going to come down soon, we promise, and then they hold up, and then they do something, and now we've got more promises coming. Does that affect you guys at all?
Well, it does. I do think that, what we saw in our marketplace would be that the interest rates actually did go down, but people didn't really become educated that they went down until the Fed lowered their rate.
Right.
And people think they're always corresponding, and they're not.
Right.
So the rates for mortgages actually decreased a little bit before that big event happened.
Right.
But the event spurred phone calls to lenders saying, okay, what's going on. So I think it all comes into play. The gist of it, when it comes to fall market, a lot of people that are in that market are people that are facing lifestyle changes that have to move.
Right.
So it's irrelative of what the rates are. It's a situation where, we need to do this.
Sure. Now, one of the P's that we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about the 3 P's today. And one of those P's happens to be price. Yeah. The other 2, patience and presentation. So let's talk about the price and how mortgage rates jumping around may have some effect on that.
Well, for one, it puts people into a position that maybe something that was out there that they've been watching, and that rate drops a little bit, all of a sudden it puts it within reach. Mm-hmm. In theory, when you're in a lower price point, the interest rates going down could push prices up. We haven't really seen that because it's not the time of the year or the time of the market where that pricing would go up. So that a rate adjustment was actually advantageous probably for both buyers and sellers, from the perspective of more buyers get into the market and people are selling their property, but it wasn't a disadvantage for buyers in this perspective where we saw prices escalate or go up just because of the time of year we're in.
And what about values? Because that certainly will affect your price as well.
For sure. The values, I really feel like this has been a year where we haven't seen a lot of changes in that.
Kind of leveled off.
It's kind of leveled off. I will say that in our micro market here, that homes that maybe a couple of years ago would have popped off at 550, 575, we are seeing those creep down to closer to 500, sometimes even dipping below that. So there are pockets of the market that their pricing has been maybe even discounted a touch, but in theory, when you look at these same people and what they escalated from, mm-hmm. it's all still a positive at this point.
You have in your notes here, consider buyer population in each range, each price range. What does that mean?
Well, when I'm looking at pricing, and and this is really for when people are kind of edging in between, let's say I do a market analysis on something and their numbers come back at 315 or 309 or a range of 305 to 315, and the conversation there at that point would be, your buyer population under 300 is going to be larger than it is in that higher market. So considering where we're at, do we just list you at 300 and capture that pool of buyers and maybe create more activity and exposure on your home to buyers, and then maybe the result is you still land at that 310 mark versus just putting it out at the higher mark at 315 and just being stagnant
and waiting
and we still, no matter what the circumstances are, we are days on market, escalating from that 18 days on market to 47 or whatever those days are on market. currently, when people see something on the market for a while on certain price points, they automatically think,
Negative.
what's wrong with
Right.
it? And a lot of times it's not anything wrong. It's just
Yeah.
not the right time or the right price or those types of things.
Where does patience enter into the formula?
Well, I'm talking about the 3 Ps, and I use that just to kind of a simple analogy when I'm sitting down with sellers specifically, and to say, price, patience, and presentation. When you are selling your home, if something's not happening, you have to change one of these Ps. You either need to change your price, your presentation, or you just need to be more patient. And the patience parameter comes into play where you are looking at, let's say, you're not in a hurry to sell, or you are in a hurry to sell. Well, if you're losing patience, you need to either make your house look better or improve your price. I mean, that's pretty simple, right?
Pretty simple stuff.
But sometimes the conversation will be, this has nothing to do with your price or your presentation. You have a very unique product that is only going to, fit certain people,
Sure.
right?
Yep.
For example, you have a Rambler where there's only one bedroom upstairs and the rest of the bedrooms are downstairs. That's going to work for a lot of people, but it might not work for a couple that has a 2 and 3-year-old, right? You have to be patient, wait for the right people.
What about presentation?
Presentation is huge, and I think the piece that we miss on that is people get really encapsulated in getting their home ready and having the right colors and the right condition as far as things are fixed, and we talk about that. And most people are pretty good at getting that together. Not everybody, but most people are. But once somebody takes the time to get their house extremely presentable, it is a huge disservice as agents, we're not coming in there and taking proper photos that really expose that condition. So the presentation for me is really twofold. It's not just what the seller does to get ready, it's how do I reflect the condition of that property in my marketing.
True enough.
And that, I think, there's not anybody that isn't out there looking at homes that doesn't see a calculated difference from one listing to a next. And I think we do that across the board really well at VoigtJohnson.
Heidi, what is the best way to work with you folks at Voigt Johnson?
Well, you can always call us at 774-2400 or just jump online at VoigtJohnson.com. We've got a great gallery of agents for you there.
Taking you home with VoigtJohnson Real Estate. Don't forget to start that home search at VoigtJohnson.com. Thank you, Heidi.
Thank you.